Hi everyone, Jared here. Time for the market video update. Lots to talk about. I'm going to get through as much as I can, as quick as I can. We're going to quickly look at how the U.S. markets are behaving right now. Oil has just kind of been bumping around here, and it's down just below $100. Gold is up quite a bit, but the S&P and Dow are down a bit. There's a lot of news about Greece possibly leaving the European Union, defaulting, talks falling apart. A lot of things happening there. If that does happen, that's going to leave some big question marks that I don't think will be good for the euro. We've had a lot of buying power on the euro, and we're at a very, very important point to see if that's going to last. We're going to talk about that. We have nothing too major coming up. We do have a press conference for the yen for Japan. And those, if there's any time for some sneaky intervention, that would be the time. Otherwise, interest rate's going to stay the same, so on and so forth. As far as coming up into the UK session, we have a little bit of kind of soft UK news. Public sector borrowing is not a big one. And then tomorrow morning we have retail sales for Canada and some Australian and some more UK news. So nothing too crazy. As far as what we've got going on here, look at our daily chart. We have talked about this high. Remember this 82 level on the dollar index, and the market just plowed right up into that, hit 82, and it's off it by about 200 points at this point. This, as you can see, though, is a pretty decent uptrend, breaking some highs, doing some things, but coming to some bigger resistances. And so hopefully what we're seeing here is just some retracement and an ability to continue up. And I think that's kind of where we might be. Everything, as the dollar index hit this high point, we saw big turnarounds on all of these other pairs, euro dollar, pound dollar, Aussie dollar, so on. And so as this is dipping, if this retraces, if we can get some sort of Fibonacci kind of retracement here, then this should be able to turn around, and this should validate hugely our trades that are setting up right now. Let's look at what we've got going. Euro dollar, as you guys remember, I guess I'll have to move this just a little bit, but euro dollar is at a very important level. It ran up here to, goodness gracious, there we go. The euro dollar kind of hit this low, hit this fourth daily fib, and it broke our trend line right here. Now it's run up to the first daily fib, which is about 130.40, 130.50, somewhere in that general area, and it's just pushed a little bit higher to about 130.55, and it's coming down off that pretty well. Remember that my two levels to keep an eye on were the first and second fib. So this first one is just about 130.30, and the second fib is just about 130.80. I think this is a crucial kind of 50 pip area for a big reversal and a big turn right back down, potentially. However, we could see the euro reaching all the way up to this 38 and potentially this 50% fib level. That puts us all the way up around 13500 and 132.50, kind of in that general area, and that's from this big move down. So this is a key area to determine if that's going to happen. If the market can bounce off of this general resistance, which should be very, very strong, we should see big continuations down, breaks of these lows, and big, big movement down. If not, then we're probably headed into this 38, and we may have a longer-term buy on our hands. That's kind of where the market is. So if it really breaks this area, we could have 250, 300, 400 pips up to go, which is very, very likely. But as you can see, the market's really struggling with this 23. It's struggling with the daily fib. It's struggling with a whole bunch of things. And if it stays below this, then we will probably see some big continuations down. So again, my key level here, as you can see there, was I don't know where it is now, but it's somewhere, was 130.50. 130.50 for the reversal. Okay, I can't see that, but 130.50 for the reversal on the euro dollar. And you can see that it hit about 130.55, and it's just coming right back down. So unfortunately, we're in a holding pattern right now, and I don't have a very specific entry that I'm looking for on this one, except for possibly some little breaks below these lows. You can see this 5-minute chart's kind of consolidating here, and we can look for some breaks and probably some slight continuations down there. And we've also got some little trendline breakout activity in case this runs higher to test that. So little short-term scalps are going to be okay. Probably a break above about 130, 16, 17, 18 will be a nice little buying opportunity, and probably a break below Oh, going to be tough to tell, but somewhere in this little consolidation area, about 130 even, will be a good selling opportunity. So 130 is going to be the crucial area there. We probably 130.20 for a buy and just below 130 for a sell. But the bigger movements are still panning out, and we're going to have to wait and see where those things go and kind of how they move. But we're at a big crucial reversal point, and this could be a very good entry for a nice long-term trade to continue selling this pair. Pound dollar, same thing. The pound dollar has come off some pretty crucial lows here. You can see that the pound dollar really bounced off this nice big double bottom, and this level, as we know, goes all the way back. If we look at our monthly chart, it goes all the way back on the pound dollar, and it's a very strong kind of level that's been in play for some time, all the way back into the middle of 2010. So no surprise we're getting some bounce off that, but it's bounced very nicely into this descending trend line, which is overlapped very well with that first daily fib. So it hit that first daily fib, which was just about 15600, and as you remember from some of my Fibonacci levels, that's an area we were looking for the reversal. So there's going to be a lot of resistance there, and I think we have a very good chance of this pound dollar starting to turn down. If it breaks this area, then once again we're probably headed up into some of these bigger areas of about 157.50 and so on. So we've got another crucial area where we're just going to have to kind of wait and see if this thing pans out. 15600 was my big reversal area. You can see the trend line from the daily chart. It's just hit that and it's bouncing down. Long-term trades all the way on that one, but we've got to kind of wait for a little bit. You can see that we've got some little short-term trend lines right here that may start to kind of confirm that movement. And hopefully give us some of that run down. Even if we were only able to trade this down into this bigger trend line right there, there's some good pips to be had in there. So as it's coming off this level, there could be a nice little 15-minute breakout somewhere in this 155, 50-ish area to continue trading this down and hopefully get it into the gap, into the trend line. There's 60 to 90 pips to be had there, and so that's the short-term entry that I'm looking for. But again, if this breaks these highs here, then we're probably headed for about 15700. If it stays below these highs of 15600 and we start to get a crossover and a trend line breakout, then we're probably very likely headed into this low trend line right here and into the gap and even beyond, hundreds of pips. So there should be some good runs there, and that's what we're waiting for. All of these pairs are going to see a very common theme. 100.50 was the big reversal level on the euro yen as well. Euro yen has run up to the 61.8 on the shorter term movement. From this high to that low, it's just hit that 61.8. It's struggling just above that 4-hour gap, just right at that daily gap. It's just come shy of touching that first daily fib. So again, crucial area. This could be a big breakout right here, big, huge breakout, but it's coming into some very, very key resistance, and if it doesn't hold below this 150 level, then it's probably headed up another 2 to 350 pips probably. But if it does stay below that, then we're going to have some nice opportunities for some long-term sells to take it back down into these lows of, probably 300 pips or so. So some very nice long-term entries there, but it's got to stay below these lows. Everything is bounced off their key crucial levels, 150, 5600, 130.50, and so on. So that's kind of what I'm looking for, and we're just going to kind of wait this out and see if there's that entry there. If this starts to get lower off this level, then we may have a nice sell entry. We're going to keep our eye on that. Pound yen, same thing. Crucial levels right here. The 120 area, hit 120, just push just a tiny bit above that, just shy of that first daily fib, but very much in this channel. It's staying in that channel very, very nicely. So as it's bouncing off that channel, I'm looking for potentials for reversals. If we can get a reversal off that, again, we're going to know with some 1-hour crossovers. We're going to need to get those crossovers to really be able to confirm that. It's very choppy on these smaller time frames, as you can see here, but we do have some trend lines to some degree. So if we can get below some of those trend lines, that's going to be just about simultaneously with a 1-hour crossover, and we should be able to trade it down into this gap of 75 pips or so, and have some nice runs there. But very crucial resistance, and so that's what we're looking for. Now, something that we're not looking for necessarily on the crucial resistance area is the Australian dollar. This thing broke our trend line that, remember, we were watching and waiting and curious to see what it was going to do. Broke that trend line, ran up nicely, and has made really a good, clean, official breakout. I think we're going to be headed into some of these upper fibs, fourth and potentially even the fifth daily fib. So what I'm looking for on here is just a retracement to about 104.75 to buy. I'm just looking to buy on the dip from this recent run right here. I just want to get in somewhere around the 50% fib. You can see the 50% is about 104.75-ish. So that's what I'm looking for a nice little buy opportunity. Buy on the dip. You know, give this thing, it's probably going to need 45 or 50 pips of stop loss on the longer term, but I think we've got easily, you know, 100 to 150 pips of upside movement on this one. So looking to get in right around 104.75 to buy the Australian dollar and trade it on up. And last but not least here, gold. Key crucial level. I talked about this in every video last week, in every live session we had. 1680 on gold. Big descending trend line right here. 1680 was our key reversal point. We're going to see if gold can stay below that. And you can see that on this 1680, our highest point, this highest candle right here was 1681. So it exceeded our level by literally $1, and it's just coming right back down here. So so moving very nicely, and we're going to have to kind of wait this one out just a little bit as well and look for some crossovers and some breakouts on some of these charts. But it's still holding kind of bullish, but it's coming into major resistance. So again, a little bit of a waiting pattern, but I think we're going to have a very nice run on that. So if dollar index can just be retracing and continuing back up, if gold bounces off this level, if that really happens, then our euro is probably going to bounce off that level nicely. The pound dollar is probably going to bounce off it nicely. Euro yen and pound yen probably will as well. But if they break their highs, everything's only off the highs by a couple of pips. So if we break these highs sometime between now and the UK or US session, then we're probably headed for much higher levels. And this is no longer a run into some of this retracement, and these are full-fledged breakouts headed for major levels. And at that point, we may look for some short and even long-term buy entries on both of those. But they're all at waiting points, and we've got to make sure that we have solid confirmation before we do anything with them. So that's where we are. There's some short-term scalps. Make sure you mark those levels on your charts, and we'll have some entries coming up, hopefully for this UK session and the US session coming up. Best of luck, everyone. We'll see you in the chat.